Hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video I want to talk about dealing with challenging customers. Coming up. Hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video I want to talk about dealing with challenging customers. Ultimately, as you run your lawn care business and you're dealing with the public, you are going to encounter challenging situations with those customers. Over the years of my own lawn care business, there have been instances of challenging situations with customers that I have learned from, and they've actually molded and changed the way I do certain aspects of my business. So I'm one that's always done monthly billing in my lawn care business. I've always liked just having a consolidated monthly bill for each customer instead of billing after each and every service throughout the year. Makes it a lot easier for your tax season. Now, one of the drawbacks here when I was starting out, of course, was that I was accepting payments by check or cash for that monthly service. So I would leave the bill at the end of the month after I had done a month's worth of mowing, and ultimately I would then wait till the next week for them to pay me. And you encounter the customers that start to become late on their payments and make excuses and all that sort of stuff. And ultimately, those challenges are what led me to have a policy of only taking on customers and only billing by credit card only. So I've talked on my podcast how this past year has been my busiest season to date, and that I added a whole bunch of new customers last year. Now, one of them, unfortunately, has proven to be a challenging customer, a challenging situation. And I had a couple of red flags midway through the season that should have let me know that I should have ended service right there, but I continued on. Now, that initial situation was when I first quoted them, they had a trampoline, and I told them right off the bat, one of my policies is that I don't move trampolines. If you want the trampoline moved, you need to move it yourself, and then we will mow in that area, and then the following week you can move it back and we'll mow in that following area. Now, I have this policy because of past experiences. I've hurt my back in the past moving trampolines that are, sort of dug into the soil, the ground, because it's the Pacific Northwest here. It's always wet and squishy. You're trying to pull a heavy trampoline. You're trying to get your footing, and you tweak something, and then you're in pain for months after that because of somebody's trampoline. Also, anytime you move anybody's property like that, you're ultimately responsible. So, I've had trampolines in the past as well, where I'd go to move them and they were old and rickety and something would break. And now ultimately you're responsible because you just broke that trampoline, even though you didn't want to move it in the first place. So I adopted a policy that I don't move trampolines. Now, this customer asked me if I could make an exception, and I said no. That I explained the reasons why, and they said that's fine. And I even went as far as to tell them, if you really need the trampoline moved, you'll have to hire somebody else because I don't move it. They said that was fine. So I started mowing the lawn. After the first month or so, they started to text me on those mowing days with messages like, "I want you to mow under the trampoline," or "I want you to move the trampoline," or, move the trampoline. It started to get quite annoying because I was thinking, my policy, what do you not understand? I even told you that you can hire somebody else if what I offer doesn't suit your needs. But at the time, because it was sort of mid-season, I thought, what? I'm just going to make an exception because the ground isn't too bad right now. I'll move the trampoline and I'll just add a surcharge to their bill each and every mow for moving that trampoline. And that's what I did. And the customer never complained about their bill or the added trampoline charge. Now, here in the winter, coming to the last month of the season, we have the leaf cleanups happening. This customer's property is surrounded by leaves, a lot of tiny little leaves, and the front yard, although not many trees, there are city trees across the street with leaves that inevitably blow onto the property. So I start mowing the lawn each and every week as usual, but I start adding a minimal $15 per week leaf cleanup surcharge, because there's no way that I can blow off driveways and sidewalks and the beds and all that sort of stuff of the leaves onto the lawn. Mow all that and all of the added work with that without adding a nominal charge to doing that. And I simply cannot, mow the lawn without touching the leaves that are on the lawn and leaving them be. They get cleaned up as part of it, but it takes longer. So I start adding that to the bill. They got their final bill and started complaining right away about the leaves on the lawn and these charges, and saying that there was never any leaves to clean up. They also started to question days that I was there mowing, saying that I was never there on that particular date to mow the lawn. Even though, I'm strict about my policy on mowing and that everyone is a weekly mowing, that I do every single lawn, rain or shine, regardless. And even if I have a conflict, as in one of the days that they were pointing out, I rescheduled every lawn that week earlier by one day so that I could get to everybody's lawn and not miss mowing a lawn. So it was just mind-blowing to me that they are now accusing me of not showing up to mow the lawn one day, even though you could clearly tell with the stripes on the lawn, the edges cut, and the debris, all of the clippings that are left in their bin each week for the city to take away, that the lawn was clearly mowed. So just challenging situations, that you can encounter in your lawn care business, even if you've gone a few years coasting along with no issues. Some things can inevitably pop up, and you start to think for the future of what steps can you take next to prevent this sort of thing. So I start to think, do I need to implement actual contracts where customers are signing contracts before I start business for that customer? And then I think, well, if I'm going to do that, do I implement those contracts with all of my past clients that I've had for years, that I've never had an issue, that I've never questioned my bill? Do I now go back to them and say, now you need to sign a contract? So many different challenging situations that you start to think of as a lawn care business owner when you encounter situations that you would have never planned for, never thought of. But it's normal to know. So just when you guys are, out there, you're listening to podcasts, you're watching guys on YouTube, you may be following guys on Instagram and watching their stories and seeing all of the positive and good things about lawn care. Always know that there's always going to be challenging situations, even for the most perfect lawn care business, where you think that person has all their stuff together, they've got all their they've crossed all the T's, they've got all the I's dotted. There's going to be bound to be situations that they're not expecting that come up, and that you're going to have to work through and figure out what the best way to deal with is. So that's it for this video, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below and let me know any of the challenging situations that you've come across in your own lawn care business. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.